Hi, everybody. I have a Halloween surprise for you, a creepy text adventure by Justin Squires called The Deer Trail. It was made in 2021. It got really good reviews, and I'm just going to go into it blind and see what happens. The trigger rating is completely unknown. Forest Trailhead. A cool and gray October day, perfect weather for an afternoon hunt. You exit your truck and head down the trail towards a deer blind you had set up a few weeks earlier while scouting the forest. Thick fog hangs in the air, making visibility difficult. As the leaves crunch underneath your feet, you decide that you must hurry north to the blind, as you only have a few hours until dark. Okay. Type help at any time to display this. Wow, okay. So how about inventory? You're carrying knife, bow, and arrow. Okay, so at least I'm not completely vulnerable to monsters. Hopefully. Let's go north, I guess. Deer blind. You find your makeshift deer blind just off the trail and sit inside of it. It's a lean-to construction crafted using falling branches and dead leaves against a large oak tree. You've built them this way since you were a young teen, always at ground level. You sit, bow in hand, and prepare to wait silently for your prey to enter within shooting distance. In the meantime, you had better knock your arrow so that you are ready. Okay. Knock. Arrow. Oh, sorry. Not a bow hunter, so. You knock the arrow onto the bowstring. Many moments pass by as you wait. Out here in the forest, you can hear every disturbance clearly. A squirrel rustling in the leaves, pine cones falling from the canopy to the forest floor after being jarred by a breeze. The growth of tree trunks as they sway to and fro. Nothing escapes you as you listen for the distinct pattern of deer making its way through the wilderness. Night is falling quicker than before as a waning sun competes with the overcast skies. In the twilight of dawn, the ability to clearly define your surroundings diminishes as your eyes begin to play tricks. The foliage is replaced by ominous shapes and shadows. A tree stump becomes a forest troll. Off-color leaves become sets of eyes staring back at you. Imagination runs wild at this hour of fading light. Very soon it will be too dark to hunt, and you will have to return empty-handed. Perhaps it would be best to rest your eyes for a moment and listen to the forest one last time. Okay. This goes against my better judgment, but whatever. Rest eyes. You briefly close your eyes and listen intently to the forest. Suddenly you hear the sound of leaves crunching in front of you. You recognize the sound pattern, and when you open your eyes, your stomach drops. Standing in the clearing ahead of you, illuminated by the last bit of remaining light, is the largest buck you have ever laid eyes on. He wears a crown of sprawling bony antlers that reach skyward. His presence is both exhilarating and foreboding, as something is off in his stature. You hesitate for a moment, but regain your composure and slowly bring the bow to take aim. When the moment is right, you will try to shoot the deer. Okay, well, I guess I have to shoot the deer. You draw the bowstring and aim at the buck. Just slow and steady breath in, you let your arrow fly. It strikes the deer right behind the shoulder blade. The deer staggers before quickly darting off into the thick. Feeling a rush of adrenaline course through your body, you sit back in the blind and take several deep breaths. It's customary to wait a few moments before you start to track the deer. During this time, a deafening silence washes over the forest. The blackness of night consumes all. You flick on your flashlight as you get ready to head northeast toward the clearing. The fog is thicker than before. Okay, northeast. It is. Clearing. A very small clearing inside the dense forest. This is where you struck the deer, and it is surely wounded. You should probably track the deer so that you can pick up the trail. Okay. There's a trail of light blood droplets leading north into what looks like a deer trail. Okay, north. This is a narrow trail through thick brush used by deer. The trail continues northeast and northwest. You'll have to track the deer in order to navigate your way through here. So it's a Fork. Track deer. Trail of blood and hair continues north. I guess I have to follow that. The trail is so narrow. It continues west and east. Track. Deer. You find more droplets and hair that lead northeast. Okay, northeast. A small clearing nestled inside the thicket of deer trails. In the brush, you can see an old rusty car. Trails are leading north, east, east, south. It's getting windier. Gotta look at that car. Examine car. An old Cadillac that is so rusted you cannot tell what the original color might have been. It looks to be from the 60s. The interior is destroyed and weathered. Open trunk. It's locked. It's probably not going to pry open. Trunk with knife. Won't work. Hits. So I guess we'll have to track deer from here. Trail of blood seems to go west from here. It is definitely long shot. Bits of bloody, yuck. It's west. Deer trail 2B. More deer trail surrounded by thick brush. There is a trail to the north, east, and east. Track deer. The blood is going west. West. The part of this deer trail is narrow. The trails are leading east and south. There is a pool of blood, hair, and mucus here. Deer must have fallen. The broken branches indicate that it traveled north. North. Deer trail 1C. Trail is so narrow you have to crouch. There doesn't seem to be anywhere else to go. Oh no. Hope it's not like a maze thing. Track. Deer. The blood has become droplets again. Your eyes follow them northeast where you find an opening through the brush. Northeast. Darkened field. This larger field looks like it once used to grow corn or possibly soybeans. Now it is covered in tall grass. Old Farmall tractor sits in the center of the field. Barely visible through the fog, you see the shadow of a farmhouse to the north, a decrepit barn to the east, and tree line to the northwest. I'm going to go to the house, but I just want to see what this... Okay, so north. Okay, it's towards the farmhouse? Front porch. You stand in front of an abandoned farmhouse. It is an old construction, possibly dating back to the 20s or 30s. The siding is grayed. The paint has all but peeled away, suggesting that it has not been occupied for many years. Porch, you see a broken porch swing, some empty planters, and a rocking chair. The front door is directly north of you. You notice a second-story window just above the doorway. So go north. The door is locked. Let's be polite. Oh, the knocker, okay. Use door knocker. You use the door knocker and knock loudly. Nothing happens. Looks like no one is home. Of course. Kick. Let's see, look around a bit. Okay, so... Maybe there's something in the planters. Doormat? People like to hide keys under doormats. The front door is locked. Oh, the window. Broken second story window. It is just out of reach. Climb to window. Climb. Window. You can't climb it. Go back to the field. Look. Farm. Tractor. Once a standard piece of equipment for most farmers, it lays broken down and rusted in the middle of the field. It has been a long while since this tractor has worked. I don't think that's going to be useful. There's a decrepit barn to the east. Let's go there. This is great stuff. It's just creepy as hell. Decrepit paddock. You stand inside of a grazing paddock just outside of the barn. To your shock, you discover dozens of animal skeletons in the paddock. Cows, pigs, goats, all of them looked to have been forgotten here and left for dead. Who could have let this happen? Large barn looms to the east. In the field to the west, so east. The interior of the barn is massive and has not been maintained over the years, as it is missing boards along its walls. It won't be long until the roof collapses. Next to you, near the entryway, you see a pile of miscellaneous sporting goods. There is a large workbench across from you along the wall near the stables. You can travel deeper into the barn by going south. What kind of sporting goods? A life jacket, a tent, a broken lantern, and a tackle box. Open tackle box. It's locked. Well, the lantern's broken, so... South. Old barn south. You find yourself facing a wall of old cobblestone. Here, the barn is in bad shape, as it is to the north. The wooden boards are weathered, warped, and discolored from years of exposure to the elements. Antique farming tools hang from hooks on the walls. Oh, wooden ladder. Get ladder. Need that. You can use it to get in the house. Look. Farming tools. Tools used in the old days were a pitchfork. Shears. See if I can take a pitchfork. That seems silly. You can't take it, yeah. Didn't think so. Okay, let's head back to the house and see if I can... Okay. So west, yeah. So now I have to go back north. Okay. Use ladder. I hope it's that simple. Yes, you climb the ladder. What? You climb the ladder up and crawl through the broken window. Upstairs hallway east? You climb through the window and find yourself on a second floor hallway. Looking beside you, next to the window, you find a letter on a small table. It reads, Confession of Daniel Muir, number 1. Letter has been logged into your inventory. Type read letter to review. The hallway reveals that the interior of the house is in a state of blight. The wood floors are warped and buckled from exposure to the elements. The paint has peeled away from the walls, and parts of the ceiling have fallen in from water damage. You notice that a trail of fresh blood comes down the hall and stops at a door directly in front of you to the north. The hallway continues west, and there is a door next to you to the east. Oh, now we're in a haunted house. So I guess we'll have to read the letter. Okay. I spent my entire life working in the fields as a God-fearing man, trying to stay on the right side of things. The past year, however, has stripped me of any chance at redemption. Last year, I began to suspect that my wife, Helen, had become unfaithful. Any compassion toward me had since diminished, but still she carried a glow about her. It was the kind of glow that you would see in a teenager experiencing puppy love for the first time. One day while I was out working the field, I caught sight of my best friend Evan sneaking out of our back door, and I knew right away that I had been betrayed by the two people I loved the most in the world. I confronted Helen about what I suspected, and she neither confirmed nor denied it. Instead, she grimaced at me and left the room. There is nothing more painful than realizing the person you love no longer loves you, but instead resents your very existence. The following week, I invited Evan to go hunting in the forest surrounding my farm, something we had done together since we were both preteens. As we walked along the deer trail, I could tell that Evan was uncomfortable, his face unable to conceal his guilt. When we arrived at the small clearing, my temper and rage became unhinged. I did not confront Evan about the affair. I just turned my rifle on him and shot him between the eyes, his pitiful, deceitful eyes. And the reality of what I had done set in, I hastily dragged his corpse to the old oak tree in the eastern forest and stuffed his body into a coyote den at the base of the oak tree and covered the entrance with shrubs and vines. When I arrived back home without Evan, Helen knew right away what I must have done and broke into tears. Watching her sob brought me a profound sense of joy. That's messed up. So he probably killed his wife too eventually. So it's the old love triangle dynamic. So we'll just play for a couple minutes more because I don't want to spoil. But this one's great. I really like this one, where it's going. Great atmosphere. Oops. Look. So I'm upstairs, hallway east. The wood floors are warped and buckled from exposure to... How can a trail of fresh blood come from down the hall and stop at the door directly in front of me? Well, I have to go north then. What? Well, let's go east. There's a door right there. Bathroom. The bathroom is in shambles. The 70s mint green floor tile has all but broken apart and scattered into pieces. The sink is hanging off the wall. The mirror above the sink is shattered, and you seriously doubt that the grimy toilet and tub are in working order. There is a cupboard below the sink and a laundry chute on the far wall. I can't resist. See what this says. You can't use it. Okay, open cupboard. You open it. There is a spray bottle? Okay, take spray bottle. You pick it up. Suddenly the door to the bathroom slams shut. Startled, you cautiously try the handle. It is locked. Great. There's a poltergeist active in the house. I'm locked in the bathroom. Open door. I'm pretty sure that's not going to work. Is that it? That's the end? Oh, the laundry chute. A large laundry chute. Looking inside, you can see that it leads down into the darkness below. Well, I choose the darkness below. This is really good. You can't. Oh, shit. Enter. If I can't go through the laundry chute, oh, okay. It's a tight fit. But you manage to crawl into the laundry chute and slowly slide down into the darkness below. Cellar. You fall from the chute into the cellar. You notice a piece of paper came out of the laundry chute with you. It must have been stuck in there. It reads Confessions of Daniel Muir, number 2. The cellar is dreary and dank with low ceilings, a dirt floor, dust-ridden cobwebs sprawled along the log rafters. You can see a workbench against the wall nearest to you. Next to the bench is a metal cabinet. The laundry chute you fell from earlier protrudes from the ceiling. There are stone steps in the corner of the room that lead upward. So read letter. Okay. Wow, this one's a long one. Okay. A season has passed since my fateful hunting trip, and I began to cultivate my crops again. By this time, Helen had all but locked herself away in her room. She was heartbroken by the loss of her lover. Staying in the small room off the living room and sleeping on a cot, I spent my days focusing on farm work, intent on making the land flourish so I could have a prosperous season. A few months into the growing season, I started to notice a large buck lingering on the property near the tree line. It was the largest deer I'd ever seen. Its rack had a massive spread with a dozen large spikes. Every evening it would stand at the edge of the forest watching me as I worked the field. It wasn't long after the buck arrived that misfortune began to befall the farm. The crops started to wither away. No matter what I tried, they would not grow again. My livestock became ill, losing their appetites, eventually dying of starvation, and finally all my machinery had malfunctioned or stopped working altogether. Everything on the farm ceased. After a long month of grief and loss, I stood in the middle of the field and hung my head between my legs to cry. When I lifted my head, I saw the buck at the tree line watching me with indifferent eyes. I decided then and there that I would hunt the buck and claim him as my trophy. He, the omen of misfortune and blight, would live off my land no longer. Before the sunrise of the next day, I set off along the deer trail. It was easy to track the buck. His prints were larger than any other animal in the woods. Rifle and flashlight in hand, I followed his trail to the eastern forest, but stopped short when I came upon the oak tree. Sight of the tree sent waves of guilt and shame through me, but what bewildered me even more was that the deer tracks led to the tree and into the coyote den. Its entrance now open and void of the shrubbery I had used to conceal it. Stood there a long while staring into the hole, afraid to go near and disoriented by the unlikeliness of what I was seeing. Morning sun began to rise over the woodline. Its rays traveled past the trees and illuminated the den. As the sun touched the entrance, an ear-piercing shriek escaped from within, and scent of fleshy antlers began to emerge from the hole. I watched in absolute terror as the buck crawled forth from Evan's crypt. Ran as fast as I could through the trail and back to the house. Never been as scared as I was at that moment, running feverishly through the forest. I could not sleep for many days, unable to sense what I had witnessed. Every evening I looked out the front window to find the buck staring at me from the tree line. Soon I began to accept that I was being punished for my sin. Evan had manifested himself back into this world to curse and ruin everything that I know. The deer had come here to drag me to hell. Wow. This one's really good, really immersive. I can't resist. I'll just look around in the basement and then I think wrap it up. There's a metal cabinet, see. It's probably going to be locked. Old metal cabinet squeaks as you twist the knobs and the doors swing open. Okay, look. There is a bag labeled chemical compound A sitting at the bottom of the cabinet. Get chemical compound A. What else is down? Oh, look. Examine workbench? Old and rusty tools lay scattered about the bench. The remnants of unfinished projects lay in wait as if frozen in time. A clock with a dissembled face, a radio missing its dials, and spare parts for a rabbit snare. Huh. Doesn't seem useful. I think we'll go with steps. You can keep, shoot. Climb. You travel up the old steps and unlock the cellar doors. Backyard. You walk outside onto a patio surrounded by tall grass. It's unnervingly quiet out here. In the grass, you see a rusty swing set. Edge of the patio, there's a water spigot. On the side of the house, you spot cellar doors. You can go south back into the house. Very interesting. Okay, well, I think it's only fair if I end it here. I don't want to spoil the rest of the story. Suffice it to say, though, this seems like one of the more immersive text adventures I've tried. This is really fun to play, so I highly recommend giving the Deer Trail a try. Not sure where it leads or how it ends, but it seems like a ideal, fun activity type game to play on Halloween. So happy Halloween, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more content coming soon.